Welcome to the Tyler Werner Show, discussing all the latest in Philadelphia sports.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had yet another injury scare. Another potential interruption with the process with Markelle Fultz rolling his ankle. Game 3 of Summer League basketball. But fortunately, it just seems like it's a minor injury. It's nothing to get too overly crazy about. I expect him to be suiting up and on opening day of the regular season and playing alongside Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And another notable news, Carson Wentz has begun his foundation, I guess it's called AO1, to make a difference in people's lives around the world. And in looking at his Twitter feed, and the discussion has arisen, is Carson Wentz too outwardly religious for your tastes as the franchise quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll discuss right here on the Tyler Werner Show.
And now, here's Tyler Werner.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Tyler Werner Show, right here on the YouTube channel and Facebook page at facebook.com/Tyler Werner Show. And yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind week of sorts. Last weekend, well, mainly I guess the weekend after 4th of July, heading into the weekend with Markelle Fultz rolling his ankle, Game 3 of Summer League basketball. And, of course, he was okay. He was, for the most part. I mean, I guess it looked worse than it really ended up being. A minor... Just a minor rolling of the ankle, minor sprain. Doctor said be out 1 to 2 weeks, but evidently he's going to be, shut down for the rest of the summer league. And I mean, I kind of take middle ground in this because this is one of these things where it's like, oh, well, is this something that the Sixers are going to sit Markelle Fultz for, 3 months over? Because we know how they've been babying injuries. They've been extra cautious, a la Ben Simmons last year, where he didn't end up playing at all. I take some other people say, oh, he just a minor ankle. Get him back out there, get him his experience. He better be playing back at full clip as soon as he can, kind of thing. And then there's like. You think of what the Sixers usually... It's like, watch them shut them down for months or something. It's not like that should happen either. But I just say, let him heal fully 100%. He's not going to be, I guess, participating in basketball activities for the next couple of weeks. And I just, keep him on somewhat of a minutes restriction in preseason. Okay. And then make sure he's ready to, in that case, start opening day for the Sixers in the regular season. So that he, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid can all, hopefully barring any other injury, can all be on the floor. Alright, that sounds fair enough. Now the latest, Markelle Fultz, basically said on CSN Philly, it's great right now. Glad it wasn't as bad as it looked. Made an appearance on NBA TV's The Starters on Tuesday night, talking about the status. And yeah, babe, it's great right now. I'm glad to be walking. I'm glad it wasn't as bad as it looked. Fultz spoke about how great it felt to officially sign his contract with the Sixers. The rookie is going to buy a vacation for his mom and nothing special for himself. I guess just some Chick-fil-A, apparently, it says.
It was like sweet and sour pork, right?
Okay. He stressed again his off-season focus on improving his defense. Noted he's been working on being more vocal. He was also asked about Kevin Durant tweeting high praise about his jumper. That's pretty cool, really. It shows how much love he shows. Obviously, I'm doing something good if I got NBA people looking at me. Markelle Fultz, as far as goals for the upcoming season, he has playoffs. We definitely want to get better, first of all, but our mind is on the playoffs. We know it's going to take a lot of work, and we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to play hard and listen to the coaching staff. We just got a nice pickup in J.J. Redick. We're going to be all right. Markelle was also asked one of the more challenging choices of our time, Joel Embiid or the Philly Fanatic, I was talking about last week, being his escort and photo guy at Celebrate Lancaster over in the city of Lancaster last week. Wow, June 30th, whenever, the Friday before 4th of July. The Fanatic is a legend who has been doing it for decades. Embiid is a legend who has been doing it for years, on social media at least. Fultz keeps its crew thick and goes with his teammate. Safe but fair. Alright, so it seems all well and good with Markelle Fultz. Ankle's feeling great apparently. And a couple weeks' time, it seems like he's going to be, ready to return to full practice activities with the team or whatever. Shut down for the rest of the summer league. I say give him, somewhat of a minutes restriction during preseason. And then by the time regular season rolls around, he's ready to suit up. And we were talking about it last week. Playoffs. With the addition of J.J. Redick now in the mix, who I would speculate he's going to get, he's going to be a 25 to 30 minute player a game. Brett Brown has said it himself on Sports Talk Radio with, Mike Missinelli, guys like that Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, Joel Embiid are they're going to be the starting lineup. And regardless of J.J. Redick getting paid the $23 million that he's, making, I don't think that's going to change. He's going to get a decent load of minutes kind of coming off the bench. He's going to be a good rotational free agent player, which is kind of what we were looking for, or at least what I was kind of looking for in this offseason to kind of, help round out this youthful core that the 76ers have, that are all pretty much, with the exception of Joel Embiid in his 31 games last year, is going to be taking the floor for the first time in regular season NBA action this year. And I think with this mix, again, hopefully they can stay healthy. I'm trying to think positive with them. Hoping they can stay healthy for the most part throughout the course of the year. And be a playoff team. The goal, and Fultz said it himself, that's the goal. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think you got 5 teams, perhaps, that are a lock to be above the Sixers. And we were kind of talking about it last week on the Tyler Werner Show. Maybe we'll go over it again later. But definitely, I can see this Sixers team now, with the addition of J.J. Redick, in, a little bit above, middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference, which is not as stacked and top-heavy as the West, and as talent-laden, whatever, however you want to word it. Loaded. Whatever. So we continue to talk about it. But, again, Markelle Fultz, it seems he's okay. I know it's like another bad omen, like, oh my god, another rookie here getting injured before the season. Game 3 of Summer League basketball. But he's okay. That's the most important thing. Nothing major. But again, just give him a bit of a minutes restriction. I guess for the time being with Markelle Fultz on the NBA floor. All right. The other, I guess, topic of discussion is a superstar. Well, I guess superstar, however you want to phrase it. Franchise quarterback. Franchise cornerstone here in the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz. And I have from NJ.com an interesting set of predictions. Well, one prediction about each Eagles offensive starter, which we'll get into a little later. Carson Wentz. We've kind of known for a little bit, and I guess anybody who has been following him on Twitter, I guess, has seen the occasional, some might consider it frequent, religious tweet of his Christian faith posted on his Twitter feed. And we'll kind of go down here. We'll have a little fun today on the Tyler Werner Show as we await training camp in just a couple weeks. As we're now we've now kind of moved into mid-July. Hard to believe already. But the topic has arisen this week. Of course, now with the establishment of the AO1 Foundation. And we have some audio here from Carson's Twitter feed. We have a couple bits of audio actually we want to listen to. Kind of some of the things Carson Wentz has been posting recently on his Twitter feed and the deal with AO1 Foundation. Something he's helped start up here to make a positive difference in people's lives around the world. So that's kind of the basic statement. So let's hear a little. I guess this is one of the recent posts. Carson Wentz, I guess with his phone mounted in his car, kind of talking into his phone as he's driving. So let's take a little listen to some of what Carson Wentz here had to say earlier in the week, Sunday, about football returning in a few weeks, but then I guess kind of having something deeper to say on the Sabbath day.
What's up, everybody? Man, I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Only got a couple more Sundays until Eagles football is finally back. I can't wait for that. Just wanted to share a little something that's been on my heart lately. I've been reading through the book of John, and the story of Jesus sharing with the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman, has just been kind of on my heart a lot lately. And it's been in conversation, been reading through it, studying it. And then this morning at church, Pastor Josh at Evangel in Bismarck preached about it as well. So it's had me thinking a lot. And it's funny because Jesus goes to this woman at this well who goes at noon. At that time, most people went at 6 a.m. roughly to go and fetch their water. But this woman, because she was just so ashamed of her life and kind of embarrassed in the community, she went at noon, at the hottest part of the day. And Jesus goes there and meets her where she is. And it's funny because Jews and Samaritans at the time didn't mingle. They didn't talk, especially men and women. That was just a big no-no, and Jesus didn't care. He didn't care about his reputation to go and be there where that woman was. It was just them two. And so Jesus goes, and it's funny because this woman is there feeling the guilt and embarrassment, and then Jesus says, in the middle of all this, he's trying to have a spiritual conversation with her, and he says, okay, now go and get your husband. And she goes, no, I don't actually have a husband. Jesus is like, you're right.
All right. So, I don't know, it kind of starts off there, and I guess it kind of goes on another minute or two. But I guess you get the point. Kind of a little Sunday devotional Bible study or something with Carson Wentz. And I don't know, like, I don't know, I guess it's titled No Condemnation. And I want to go, I guess, go through the Twitter. Like, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it's not, it's one of these things where if you follow Carson on Twitter, I mean, is it too much for you? Like, I don't have a problem with, you know, if Carson Wentz is outwardly, you know, open about his faith. There's other players, you know, Russell Wilson is kind of another quarterback. I remember a couple years ago, I guess the Packers beat the Seahawks one, and I guess Aaron Rodgers not being as religious as Russell Wilson. I guess one time Russell Wilson, when they beat the Packers in the playoffs, I guess in the conference championship, I guess he was kind of saying in the post-game interview, like, God was on our side or something. Then the next time the Packers win, and Aaron Rodgers said, you know, I guess God wasn't on their side this time, or something, kind of jokingly. And I remember several years ago with Michael Vick, in a post-game interview after the miracle at the Meadowlands with the Eagles beating the Giants. And in the beginning of the press conference afterwards, Michael Vick kind of, you know, first of all, I want to thank Jesus, our Lord and Savior, for this victory, and yada yada, and you know, and you know, that's fine. I mean, it's some players are outwardly religious and open like that, and that's fine. I mean, if it gives them an extra sense of being, as long as they're not harming anybody, they're not being overly judgmental, you know, who am I to say? Carson Wentz, you know, if you're not religious, you don't have that kind of faith life like Carson Wentz, you know, you don't have to, you know, really watch that stuff or listen to it. You play it, and you see he's starting to go on about, you know, biblical parable, and it's not for you. I mean, you know, but you're an Eagles fan, you're a Carson Wentz fan as the quarterback of the field, and you know, and it's like, all right, well, we'll just tune into the game on Sunday, and you know, and hope he's ready to play. I don't know. There's some people who, and I mean, I'm going through comments here on some of these, like, there's something here with the AO1 Foundation about Carson Wentz kind of starting this up, and play the audio of that on the other side, I guess, how that's getting started. But there's a reply, like, kind of just going through the comments, and some of the things that some people, like, I'm more, you know, I don't care about this or whatever, like, he needs to work on that deep ball and stuff like that. And then there's some people, like, I guess there's some other fans that I guess maybe are a little like, you know, dude, this isn't the place. I mean, I think there's a fine line when it comes down to it. Carson Wentz, the football player, and Carson Wentz, the man. You know, he'll post about, I guess, occasionally the hunting thing. I don't know why I called it a thing, but about his, because he's, you know, quite the avid gamesman. I mean, last year or whatever, he bought the entire offensive line shotguns or whatever. All right? So, you know, there's that angle to him. I mean, I think Carson, I mean, he has the freedom to post religious-driven stuff on his Twitter about his, you know, his latest kill in the hunting world. You know, he can. I don't have a problem with that. And I was discussing, I don't know, a couple months ago on the Tyler Werner Show too, about Carson Wentz being more of a vocal leader. maybe, in the locker, having a little more spark. I don't know, like, does this, do these things, like, satisfy the team? I don't know. Does he give you, like kind of what you want? Like, that extra bit of personality. I don't know. Like, I listen to some of these, I guess, religious overtones that he shares, and it's kind of funny. I almost hear some Nick Foles in him a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
How's everyone doing?
He's kind of like almost got that tone of voice to him a little bit, ironically. And some might say heavy Tim Tebow overtones, but that's a whole other topic of itself.
Our God is an awesome God here.
I don't know. I mean, has there ever been like a outwardly faithful quarterback that has been successful in the league? That brings up another topic, I guess, in itself. I don't know, like, because it's not one of these things out on the field you see Carson Wentz, trying to give some kind of blessing or something to a player on the field, like, I don't know. But it's clear he's a rather faithful guy. And I'm just, is that, I don't know, is that a turnoff in a sense? In what you want as a franchise, of your franchise quarterback here for the Philadelphia Eagles? Is he not, I don't know, does he not have that killer instinct like Brady enough? I don't know, does it take away, in a sense, in some form? We're discussing it right here on the Tyler Werner Show. And we'll talk more on the others. We'll get into the Twitter feed of Carson Wentz, because there's some people that have, I don't know, I've been hearing some complaints, I guess, that he's, it's too saturated, I guess, with tweets of religious overtones and yada yada. So we'll discuss right here on the Tyler Werner Show. Stay tuned for more after this.
Okay, Rocco, pretend I'm the girl that you want to ask out on a date.
How about maybe you and I, maybe we go out together, get something to eat, I don't know, maybe laugh a little bit, who knows, I don't know, would you like to maybe, you want me to go out together? What do you think? Would you like to?
You need to make more eye contact, and you sound way too nervous.
You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
Having a tough time asking out ladies? You need to see Clubber Lang for a lesson.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I tell you what, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man.
Build confidence with the ladies like never before with Clubber Lang's dating services. The most highly recommended in all of the Delaware Valley.
I am rate number one. One! That means I'm the best.
What defines the perfect ball? It's not just about size when it comes to Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs.
I've handled dozens of balls over the past week. We prepare our balls over time. The texture of the balls is very easy to identify.
And that slow-cooked texture is one of the qualities that make Brady and Belichick's meatballs stand above the rest. But it's also Brady's unique rubbing process that only he has the authority to perform.
When I pick those footballs out, to me they're perfect. I don't want anyone touching the balls after that. I don't want anyone rubbing them. To me, those balls are perfect.
Once the balls reached an equilibrium, we're down to the rubbing process.
Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs. When you're looking to make it a pasta night or doing a little catering, like Brady would say, to me, those balls are perfect. And we're back on the Tyler Werner Show, mid-July edition, as we are counting down the days to training camp for the Philadelphia Eagles. Football talk will start definitely making its way back into the fold, full force, in conjunction with summer stories with the 76ers. But, you know, for now, meantime, we're talking about Carson Wentz and his Twitter feed and his, you know, religious overtones, his recently established, or newly established, however you want to put it, AO1 Foundation. And have some audio of, I guess, him announcing, you know, more audio of Carson Wentz. I guess announcing this on his Twitter feed yesterday. So let's take a short listen here as to what that's all about.
What's up, everybody? Announcement real quick. I'm officially launching the Carson Wentz AO1 Foundation. The Lord put it on my heart a long time ago, and it's been in the making for quite some time. But the foundation is officially launching as we speak. I'll have an event this Wednesday night in North Dakota as well. And I really just think the Lord's going to use this to make a difference in people's lives all around the world, in the Midwest, and in the Philadelphia area. You know, the mission statement is to demonstrate the love of God by providing opportunities and support for the less fortunate and those in need. And I really think it's going to do that. I really think it's going to make a difference with your help. So if you guys want to click the link and check out what the AO1 Foundation is all about. You can also go to the shop, and the AO1 shirts are now for sale as well. And stay tuned, there'll be more things for sale in the future. So I hope you can all check it out, and with your help, we can make a difference. So thanks again, and God bless.
All right, so there's some Carson Wentz for you.
What's up, everybody?
Funny. That's how he begins every video, I guess. You know, what's up, everybody? Alright, so there you have it. I guess a brief synopsis of the AO1 Foundation, what it's about. And the question, again, you know, how does everyone feel about the Carson Wentz and his, I guess, outward form of Christianity that he shared? You know, do you kind of, I don't know, do you kind of wish he was more vocal about the football team? I'm struggling too to kind of, you know, ask the question here. I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure exactly what to make of it. I mean, is it something I'm overthinking? Is it something, you know, others are overthinking? I don't know. Maybe let's go down the Twitter feed here. Just because I'm not much of a Twitter user at all. I mean, I made an account a few years ago, but I just don't. And then, I don't know, if somewhere along the line, I thought, like, somehow my account started following all these other random accounts that I have no interest in, and I only noticed that after not being on Twitter for a while, and then checking it or something, whatever, a little while ago, and like, when did I click to follow this page and that page or whatever? I don't know. I'm not big on the Twitter and the short characters and yada yada, but I don't. That's just me. But anyhow, let's kind of go through some recent tweet history of Carson Wentz on his Twitter feed here.
Are you following me on Twitter?
Now, there's a pinned tweet here at the top from June 4th, you know, over a month ago. At the top, you know, you can't earn grace, it's free. It's the greatest gift there's ever been and will be. Accept it. Jesus is waiting for you and loves you. All right, so there's you know,
I got
some TiVo overtones there. That's the pinned tweet on his account. 16 minutes. Oh, this is since the Tyler Werner Show began today. This is brand new as I'm recording here. AO1 shirts are here. Multiple colors available. Check them out and see what the AO1 Foundation is all about at ao1foundation.org. So boom, just like that.
Oh, man.
T-shirts available. Picture of I guess Carson Wentz sitting on a boat, holding a fishing rod, wearing his sunglasses and some blue water. You know, that just reminds me I'm heading down to the beach this weekend, do a little fishing myself. Maybe not on a boat, but 2 hours ago, Carson Wentz retweeted a Lane Johnson tweet, bookends him and Jason Peters, I guess, on the field after a game last year, kind of, you know, putting fists together. All right, that's cool. I guess Wentz retweeting that. Let's see. Then the retweet 20 hours ago from Pro Football Talk, Carson Wentz begins foundation to make a difference around the world. That's the AO1 Foundation. The announcement tweet 22 hours ago, which we just played for you. Torrey Smith tweeted, Carson Fargo has the nicest folks in America. Carson Wentz, I guess, sharing that. Carson Wentz retweeted a Nelson Aguilar post July 10th. I'm with the homies, I guess, on, I can't say, North Dakota State University. I guess he was up with Carson Wentz there. You know, Nelson Aguilar now, who's kind of, I'm with the homies, and it's kind of now fallen down to third stringer or so, I guess, when it comes to his spot on the Philadelphia Eagles team. And then, before that, July 9th, then that's where the Happy Sunday, everybody, no condemnation tweet is, where, we were playing the audio of that earlier.
What's up, everybody?
That was kind of, Carson went with the, I guess, sharing the biblical story that we played in the first segment of the Tyler Werner Show. July 8th, Carson Wentz tweeted, well, after 2 years away from the sport, I'm still a terrible golfer. Alright, so it's a little something more miscellaneous, I guess.
Yesterday I did pull out.
Carson Wentz golfing for the first time in a couple of years, and I guess having a poor outing by the sounds of it.
I hit a few things.
July 7th. Had an awesome 4th back in the great state of North Dakota. Another July, so we're not really sure how this is supposed to go. North Dakota fishing. Carson Wentz and I guess some other guy I wouldn't know. Zach Wentz, looks like, I guess, brother. Tater Lee Palt. J Ledge 22. I don't know. I guess maybe family. Let's see. Carson Wentz retweet on July 7th. Read how Eagles tight end Trey Burton is making his boast in the Lord. So there we go again, I guess.
Yesterday I did.
Our God is an awesome God.
Alright. More July 7th tweet. Lane Johnson tweeted that Friday feeling and knowing football is back soon. And then Carson was kind of just like, oh yeah, or whatever. Carson went July 6th. Even though it isn't always fun, God knows what he's doing, and his timing is always perfect. Hashtag AO1. So we're going to go kind of have a little bit of a prelude there to the foundation of the AO1 there. Let's see, we go through a little more here. July 4th. Nothing on July 5th. It's a little unusual. It seems like every day Carson Wentz tweets something. Here we go. Picture of Carson Wentz, I guess on a snowy winter day, standing atop, quote-unquote, the Rocky Steps. The Art Museum steps. I guess if, you know, however you want to...
Everybody can change!
Whatever you want to call him specifically. Picture of him, you know, arms in the air. Freedom. So grateful for the brave men and women who have served this great country to allow us our freedom. Happy Independence Day, everybody. July 4th. So there you go. That's a cool... that's a good tweet there. That's kind of something, you know, alright, sign me up for that. There you go. So that's kind of Carson Wentz a little, you know, embracing the city of Philadelphia. You know, maybe as cliche as some people want to call it. Standing atop the Rocky Steps. Now, again, this was like a winter... He's got like a winter coat on, and you can clearly see snow out on the grass and everything. But nevertheless, you know, I guess it was a picture he had in his collection. And but freedom. So grateful for the brave men and women who have served this country to allow us our freedom. Wishing everyone a happy Independence Day. Picture of him standing atop the Rockies. I like that. That's a good one. Good, solid July 4th tweet. Earlier in the day, he had also posted, thankful for the men and women who have helped provide us our freedom. Happy Independence Day. An Instagram link here. I'm clicking it. Guess a Wentz Bro Outdoors. I guess that's his Instagram. Again, I'm out of the social media loop, so when it comes to this stuff, so but just as a little visitor here, you get an idea. Thankful for the men and women who have helped provide us our freedom. Happy Independence Day from Wentz Bro Outdoors. It's a picture of him and his dog and in the grass. And, yeah, okay, you know, all right. Let's see. 4th of July weekend. Great time to blow up some clays. Had a blast a few weekends ago. Getting away and camping with the boys. That was July 2nd. Looks like Carson Wentz sitting by a fire and somebody, I guess, with an acoustic guitar. Applying to July 2nd. There's nothing like seeing people give their life to Jesus. Praise God. There's another one. Hashtag AO1. Another precursor. Let's see. If you missed the message last weekend, stop by Evangel in Bismarck starting tonight at 5 p.m. and also Sunday morning. Hope to see you there. Guest speaker Carson Wentz. Sounds like a church service. Carson Wentz, first long beard. Picture, I guess, linking to his Instagram account there. And let's see. Now we get into June. Steak burrito with queso. I guess a reply to somebody. I guess I don't know. All right, steak burrito with queso.
It was like sweet and sour pork, right?
All right, I guess gives the gist of that. That was a little exercise in going through the Twitter account, the Twitter feed, I guess, of Carson Wentz, because I was hearing, depending on one end of the spectrum, some people are at. with the religious tweets that, like, you know, some people tend to exaggerate, I guess. Every other tweet is a religious tweet. You know, I don't know. To some extent, that's true. I guess, depending to what end of the spectrum you are. Is it too much? That's just a sample size of the last couple of weeks. Like, what does this say about the franchise quarterback? You know, do you think I don't know, does it make him soft? Or I don't know. Or do you think he should be out there more concerned about, you know, giving updates on his deep ball or so, like some people said? Or what do you think? Or is it Carson just kind of being, you know, Carson the man? I mean, it's not like he's out there getting in trouble or anything, doing stupid stuff. And if you're the franchise quarterback, you would hope that, or if he's the franchise, we would hope that your franchise quarterback wouldn't be doing that stuff in the first place. But what are the thoughts? I mean, I go through that Twitter feed there, do that little exercise there, and I don't know. I don't. At this juncture, it doesn't really move me one way or the other. It doesn't win me extra brownie points or whatever, however you want to put it. It doesn't make me extra excited about what Carson Wentz is going to do this season. It doesn't make me more reserved about Carson. It doesn't make me think like, oh, you know, he's too religious or whatever. He should be working on his deep ball and not wrapped up in the AO1 foundation and yada yada. To me, it's not moving the needle one way or the other. So maybe this exercise, from my perspective, was kind of pointless. But it is what it is. But what do the people out there think? What do listeners out there think about this? You share your thoughts on the Facebook page, on this video, Tyler Werner Show, whatever. Some people instead will, I don't know, just write hate tweets or something. Hate comments or whatever. Because this isn't done through Twitter, so I don't know why I said tweet. But whatever.
Are you following me on Twitter?
It's the Tyler Werner Show. We'll be right back to wrap things up on the other side right after this.
Hi there, I'm Hank Hill. Well, I'd like to tell you what Strickland can do to meet your energy needs. You see, at Strickland, the customer comes first. It's kind of interesting. The word customer begins with CU. Well, we don't see you as just another sale, but as a member of our team. I thought you might enjoy 7.5 gallons of pure premium propane. Strickland Propane, the customer comes first.
Attention parents. Is your under 18-year-old daughter being cyberstalked by a man who identifies themselves as a grown adult male?
I want to meet you and fool around. Are you up to meeting tonight, hon? I think I would like to shower with you. We can do it in the shower, too.
If so, you need to contact Chris Hansen and Company to bust these online cyberstalkers.
How are you tonight? Why don't you have a seat there and get comfortable for that? I guess you're going to tell me next that this is the very first time you've done something like this.
Chris Hansen and the Dateline crew will take care of it. Contact us, and we will put an end to the cyber stalking that your daughter is experiencing.
Well, there's something you got to know. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators.
Busted!
What's up, everybody?
We're back on the Tyler Werner Show. Gonna wrap things up here. Later going. We had earlier. I hinted at we're gonna go through this expectation for Eagle offensive players, or one prediction about each offensive starter from NJ.com, written by Matt Lombardo. And as the Eagles begin training camp July 24th, just right around the corner, there are many questions that remain when it comes to Carson Wentz. It's now his sophomore year he's entering here. Alshon Jeffrey and LeGarrette Blount, who some may suggest, could he be over the hill? He had a pretty good season last year with the New England Patriots, albeit with Bill Belichick and certainly some weapons at wide receiver that they just seem to create or pull out of thin air or off the street or whatever you want to call it.
A couple of years.
When it comes to how they deal with talent.
I've been to the grocery store in a couple of years.
How they harvest their talent there. But and then, of course, Alshon Jeffrey. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay clean after getting suspended for 4 games last year? Here's a prediction he has for each of the offensive starters coming up in the 2017 season. And I'm interested in seeing what listeners out there, what kind of expectations you have for these starters. First of all, of course, start off with none other than Carson Wentz. Who Captain Christian, some might want to call him after today's show and what he's been saying on Twitter. In a passing-oriented offense and an elevated talent level at wide receiver, thanks to the additions of Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith, Carson Wentz becomes the first Eagles quarterback since Donovan McNabb to exceed 30 touchdown passes in a single season. I could see the over-under being somewhere around there when it comes to touchdowns. Went 16-14 last year, and this was with certainly inferior talent at wide receiver. I'm trying to figure in my head touchdown distribution here between the receivers, tight ends, running backs, and how this could figure into 30 touchdown passes for Carson Wentz. With Alshon Jeffrey, I don't know, 7, 8, that might be a good number. Some over, I don't know, I've set an over-under somewhere around there. Torrey Smith, maybe a few less than that. 4 or 5. Zach Ertz, go over to the tight end. Could he have a bust-out season with the help of Torrey Smith and Alshon? Better receiving core out there, where it's not like Zach Ertz is the guy that maybe they want to think about double teaming. And then, of course, you got Jordan Matthews in the slot. How many touchdowns does he get? Darren Sproat, does he get maybe a couple pass touchdowns, make some plays out of the backfield? And of course, Trey Burton as well. Maybe how he figures in there. Notice I almost forgot Nelson Aguilar. I almost forgot. How many touchdowns do you think he's going to get this year? I don't know. Especially now that he's kind of a bench guy. And then you got to figure too: are there other bench receivers from last year that maybe surpass him? I don't know. But I think 30 might be a realistic number. I think it'd be a good goal. And if he passes 30 or more touchdown passes, I got to think it was a pretty good year for Carson Wentz. I want to see a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio this year. Especially with the increased talent at wide receiver.
I agree.
All right, so here we go with LeGarrette Blount then. The prediction Matt Lombardo has for LeGarrette Blount. 1 year removed from setting a career high with 18 touchdowns, LeGarrette Blount won't approach that number this season. But his impact will be felt by the Eagles' offense in the red zone and in short yard situations. In this scheme and in a backfield by committee, look for Blount to rush for 12 touchdowns. Okay. I can see, yeah, I'm not expecting 18 touchdowns. And you figure, too, with Carson Wentz throwing for 30 touchdowns, if LeGarrette Blount had 18 touchdowns again, I mean, that's almost 50 total touchdowns on the season on offense. That's over 3 a game. I mean, that could happen overall when you factor in the other running backs that they have, maybe, but still, that's 18 with the New England Patriots was a huge threat. But 12 touchdowns for Blount, that's a pretty good number if he's able to pull that off. Yeah, it might be a backfield somewhat by committee, but still, at the end of the day, Blount, to me, is the bread and butter guy here. He's the number one back. Deion Lewis was hurt in New England last year for much of the year. And I think then they had David White sort of in the midst. But still, not too much different here. Sproles carry the ball a few times a game. And yada yada, but Blount's the guy carrying the day at the end of the day. Smallwood might get a few carries as well, mixing some carries with him, but it's mostly Blount's running game here. Or at least that's how I think it should be. Especially in the red zone. Wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey, the prediction for him. Last season, Zach Ertz finished as the Eagles' leading receiver at tight end. This season, it is a wide receiver that takes that. This is poorly. It is a wide receiver that will take that mantle. Okay, so it was a bit of a grammatical error there. It screwed me up. That receiver is Alshon Jeffrey. Playing with a quarterback in Carson Wentz who likes to push the ball downfield, look for Jeffrey to finish with 1,150 yards and 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns! Well,
oh, man.
I don't know about that. I mean, and this is before even reading. I was just trying to go, factor how many touchdowns of Carson Wentz's 30 or so that is expected. How many would go to who? And I said maybe 7 or 8 for Jeffrey. 12. Now that's a Pro Bowl year. 1,150 yards and 12 touchdowns is, without question, a Pro Bowl year. Now, I don't think Jeffrey's had a season like that in his career yet, with both of those kinds of numbers. If he did it here, I don't know. If Jeffrey catches 12 touchdowns this year, then Carson Wentz, without a doubt, will have thrown for 30 touchdowns. But for, over a third of them, between a third and a half of them, perhaps, to go to Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, that's quite substantial. I don't quite see 12 touchdowns for Jeffrey, but that'd be something else. Torrey Smith, number 2 wide receiver. Prediction is that Torrey Smith bounces back and in a big way. Last season, in an offense that minimizes deep passes down the field in a disastrous quarterback situation, Smith caught only 20 passes for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns, but still averaged 13.4 yards per catch. Now, Smith's speed on the outside might be the most under-heralded addition to the Eagles' offense this season. Rejuvenated to be playing with Wentz and opposite Jeffrey, a 37-catch, 470-yard, 6-touchdown season seems realistic. So, we're looking at, kind of low volume, at least these predictions. And six touchdowns is pretty decent, though. So, and that's well over 10 yards a catch by those numbers. So you figure you put 6 and 12 together, that's 18 touchdowns between those two. You figure for the Carson Wentz prediction, then, several Zach Ertz touchdowns. And you got to think, several Jordan Matthews touchdowns. Yeah. At that rate, we might be looking at 35 Carson Wentz touchdowns. At that rate. But yeah, I think those kinds of, as far as yardage is concerned, realistic, and 6 touchdowns, that'd be pretty nice. Because I don't think Aguilar or Green Beckham had 6 touchdowns last year. Oh, speaking of Aguilar, here we go with Aguilar's prediction. Prediction: Aguilar overtakes Jordan Matthews for Eagles slot receiver job. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Okay. Emboldened by a successful and focused offseason, and on the heels of taking a majority of first-team snaps this spring in the slot in absence of Jordan Matthews, who is suffering knee tendonitis, look for Nelson Aguilar to wind up as the Eagles' slot receiver over Matthews, whether it is at the beginning of the season or by the season's end. Well, if it's by the season's end or whatever, it's because Matthews is hurt or whatever. That's not good, though. Suffering from knee tendonitis. We'll see how he's coming along as we go through training camp, but I don't see that happening. Again, unless Matthews is hurt and can't play, I don't see Nelson Aguilar overtaking Jordan Matthews for the job. That's the bottom line. All right, tight end Zach Ertz. Prediction: Zach Ertz doubles his touchdown total. Ertz finished as the Eagles' receiving leader in 2016 and was second behind Jordan Matthews in targets with 106. However, very few of those targets came in the end zone. But that should change this season thanks to the attention paid over the top to Jeffrey and Smith. As such, it doesn't seem unreasonable for Ertz to up his touchdown total from 4 last season to 8 this season. So 8 touchdowns for Zach Ertz. It's probably a Pro Bowl year. So Lombardo had 12 for Jeffrey, 6 for Torrey Smith as far as touchdowns, and then you figure 8 for Zach Ertz. That's 26 touchdowns right there out of Carson Wentz. So that leaves only 4, like Jordan Matthews, maybe Nelson Aguilar gets a couple. You know, a couple of running backs. Yeah, we're looking at that rate, yeah. That's like third. I mean, if those numbers come to fruition, then yeah, Carson Wentz is throwing for 35 touchdowns this year. Maybe more. But again, some of these, I don't know. A little high. So I don't know. But that's pretty much going to wrap things up here for the Tyler Werner Show. I mean, we go through the linemen here, but quickly, Jason. Here's a prediction for Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce is on another roster by week 1. So I guess Matt Lombardo has Kelce getting traded.
Hit him up! Move him out!
As the Eagles would save $6 million against the cap in 2018 if he gets released. So you know, even though it's been said by Harry, like, no, we want to keep Jason Kelce. You know. Prediction: Lane Johnson, he makes his first Pro Bowl. Yep, stays healthy, stays clean, very well. See that. And Jason Peters plays all 16 games and makes his 10th Pro Bowl. Yeah, see if he stays healthy. All right. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the Tyler Werner Show. Again, we're counting the days to training camp. MLB All-Star game coming up this weekend. MLB All-Star weekend. Get a bit of a break from the Phillies. As if a lot of us are, you know, paying attention and the kind of season that they're having. Talk next time on the Tyler Werner Show. See what kind of Eagle stories may be emerging as we inch closer to training camp, and see maybe if anything else comes out of Sixers Summer League basketball. Stay tuned next time on the Tyler Werner Show.